Hotel Transylvania Transformania is the fourth installment in Sony Animation's franchise, headed direct to Amazon Prime on January 14, 2022. It stars Selena Gomez, Andy Samberg, David Spade, Steve Buscemi, Kathryn Hahn, and Brian Hull, taking over the role of Dracula from Adam Sandler. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. Drac and the Pack are back like you've never seen them before. When Van Helsing's mysterious invention, the Monstification Ray, goes haywire, Drac and his monster pals are all transformed into humans, and Johnny becomes a monster. In their new mismatched bodies, Drac, stripped of his powers, and an exuberant Johnny, loving life as a monster, must team up and race across the globe to find a cure before it's too late. So I suppose I would consider myself a fan of the Hotel Transylvania franchise. I mean, I've enjoyed each one of these movies so far to varying degrees. I really liked the first one. The second one, I don't remember too much about, but I do remember enjoying it. And the third one I thought was fun, was enjoyable. I mean, a lot of people didn't really seem to like that one, but I didn't have a huge problem with it. It was just dumb fun, like all of these movies are. But at the end of that third one, I did kind of find myself thinking, there's not much else you can do with this franchise. I mean, this is a fairly formulaic franchise that each of the movies use the same kind of story beats, the same gags are repeated over and over again. There's really not much you can do with this concept. And particularly when they announced a fourth movie, I kind of thought, what on earth are they going to do with this now? Because I kind of thought they've exhausted all their possibilities, they've done all the gags they can do, they've done all the story they can do. This is a franchise that is dead in the grave. Yes, that is a pun that is well and truly intended. But major props to the production team behind Hotel Transylvania 4, which does include the fantastic Gennady Tartakovsky, who has returned for this movie. He wrote the screenplay and came up with the story for this one, for actually finding a way to breathe some fresh life into this franchise, to do something new and original with it. As I said at the top of this one, this movie essentially focuses on the characters all being subjected to this Monstification Ray, which means they all end up kind of, I guess, swapping bodies. This is like a body swap horror comedy in the vein of like Freaky Friday, where all the monsters become humans and the human character Johnny becomes a monster. So this does open up new narrative directions that this franchise can take, and it also opens up new opportunities for the comedy and the humor and the gags. This is a series that focuses heavily on its humor, whether that is in like verbal humor like quips and one-liners, but it also relies heavily on body comedy, slapstick humor, you know, body gags, all that kind of stuff. And I think that this is just the perfect story to kind of explore some new jokes, some new gags, and this movie really does excel with its humor. I think that's my favorite part about this, is that there are just some really fantastic little gag pieces in this movie. It makes it so much better that we're actually seeing stuff that we haven't seen done before in this franchise. This is a very, very easy movie to watch and enjoy. It also has this really fantastic kind of road trip element to it, where we have these characters, particularly Drac and Johnny, that have to go off on this quest to fix this Monstification Ray so they can all switch their bodies back to normal. You could compare it to Pixar's Up, where they go on this really great journey of self-discovery while exploring like this wilderness, this really great road trip buddy comedy kind of thing. And again, that's something that we haven't seen in this franchise yet, and I think that's like a really, really welcome place to take this franchise. Following this, I'm not sure what else can be done with this franchise next. I do feel like it may have exhausted its possibilities now. And I actually think they have said that this is supposed to be the last one. This is going to be the finale. And I guess I would understand if it is, because I really don't know where they can take this franchise going forward unless they find some other radical way to change everything up again. I'm not sure if they're going to. But, you know, these franchises, how many times have we heard, yeah, this is definitely the last one, and then 2 or 3 years down the line, they're like, yes, Hotel Transylvania 5 is happening. This is probably one of my favorite ones. I would probably put this very close between, you know, 1 and 2. It is certainly much better than the third one, so a lot of people will be very happy to hear that. The humor isn't as juvenile, and the story is more enjoyable. There is more of a story to this one, and that heart and that humility that was present, particularly in that first movie, is back here. These characters do go on this really wonderful journey, and I think people are really going to really enjoy this movie. And I think if this is the final one, I think it's a really perfect way to kind of wrap it all up in a nice little bow and just kind of cap it off and go, yeah, let's put the Hotel Transylvania franchise to sleep for good now. Now, the one thing that most people want to know about, ever since I mentioned I was going to do a review for this, so many people have messaged saying, please talk about Brian Hull voicing Dracula. Now, Brian Hull, I mean, you're on YouTube right now. I'm sure 99% of you know who Brian Hull is. He's not just an impressionist, he's an incredible voice actor, but he started here on YouTube doing voice impressions of famous cartoon characters, and he can do almost every cartoon character you can imagine. He is incredibly talented, and it's really fantastic to see him landing big gigs like this, particularly replacing Hollywood heavyweight Adam Sandler. Now, I think this is the first major animated motion picture where Brian Hull is doing voice role in, or at least is in a starring role, is in the lead role. Brian Hull does a very, very good job voicing Dracula. He's incredible. We've heard his Adam Sandler impression many, many times. He has, in fact, voiced Dracula in a number of kind of side projects. I think he did like a couple of short films. He did some theme park attractions, stuff like that. So he has expertise in voicing this character before. I think it's hard to jump into a role that someone else has had before you, particularly in animation. You know, when it's in live action, I feel like you can kind of embody a character in a different way and kind of make it your own. In animation, you're kind of really limited with what you can do. And I feel like, yeah, at times it does feel like Brian is bringing kind of just like an impersonation to this role. But on the most part, he does a very, very, very good job at impersonating this character and bringing his own little spark and his own little charm to it, while keeping it very much in line with the Dracula that we all know and love. And as I said, after the first 10 minutes, you kind of forget that someone else is voicing Dracula. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for him to get more work in big movies, not just impersonating other actors, impersonating other characters. I'd love to see him land a big movie where he gets to actually create a voice and create a character and you know, maybe have his own iconic character in animation history. I think that would be great. Brian just seems like such a wonderful guy, and I love his content. I've been watching his stuff for a very, very long time, and yeah, it's just so cool to see him succeeding like this. And yes, he does a very, very good job. But look, on the whole, I thought this was, once again, a very enjoyable movie. It's got the heart, it's got the humor. I really love the new, I really love the new designs of the characters, like the human designs of the monsters. I think are just really so much fun. And, you know, the great gag pieces, the humor, all that kind of stuff. It's just a very enjoyable, easy to watch movie. Like, this was intended for a theatrical release. It doesn't really feel like it's a streaming movie. This does feel like a theatrical film, which is a good thing, because, you know, sometimes you might get a sequel to a movie that is made specifically for home media or for a streaming service, which feels like it's a step down from the previous movies. This doesn't feel like that. This is most definitely a theatrical movie that, through an unfortunate series of events, has been sold off to a streaming service to have as their exclusive. But it definitely feels like a theatrical event, and I think people are really, really going to enjoy this movie. And at that, I'll be giving Hotel Transylvania Transformania a 3 out of 5. Hotel Transylvania Transformania is a welcome, fresh entry, taking the story in new, exciting directions with plenty of opportunities for original gag pieces. However, I feel it may have squeezed the last drop of fresh blood from this ailing franchise. Once again, Hotel Transylvania Transformania drops on Amazon Prime on January 14, 2022. Thanks to the team over at Amazon for providing me with an early screener of the movie for the purposes of this review, and thanks to everybody out there for watching. Hope you enjoy the movie. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.